Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast.
Police officers of San Francisco have saluted Norton.
Respectfully, get good.
Kim Kardashian will break into your house. I have known about Emperor Norton for a while. I can't believe we haven't talked about him yet. This was a listener request from XCIX on our Discord server, so thank you for giving us this one.
I know nothing about Emperor Norton at all. I don't know that I've ever actually heard of this guy.
Was this a prospector?
Emperor Norton was the the Emperor of the United States, just because he said he was one day, and people really liked him, and so he just continued being the Emperor. That's more or less actually all that I know about this guy. I've watched videos on him, but I forgot everything, so we're going to rediscover this.
No, I've been able to figure out.
So he was born in England and then moved to South Africa, where he was raised. And then I guess he left Cape Town, South Africa, ended up back in England to get to Liverpool, and then sailed from there to Boston. Eventually, he ended up in San Francisco in 1849, which
this guy got around.
For those of you who don't follow football, that is the year that everyone went out to pan for gold, that they finally found that. So San Francisco basically didn't exist at that point. So
wait, did you say familiar with football?
Yeah.
Oh, like the 49ers.
Yeah, they got the 49ers as a team there, and they're named after the fabled 1849, which was a big year for San Francisco.
But this guy, they said that he had a short time of prosperity where like he had some money after San Francisco, so I don't know if he found any gold at all.
He made a business gambit in late 1852, so 3 years after the rush, that played out poorly and forced him to declare bankruptcy 4 years later. He declared himself the Emperor of these United States in September of 1859, 10 years after the 49s.
Oh, so here's what happened. He went bankrupt selling rice. So he wasn't even trying to look for gold. That was his thing. He was trying to sell rice.
How did he go bankrupt?
And I guess make a quick buck on other prospectors, and that didn't work.
Really?
Which I'm going to be honest, man, respectfully, get good.
Jackson's been selling rice since he was 6 years old, okay?
Jackson, I bet you sell rice, okay?
To a bunch of prospectors, yeah. This guy needs to get good.
So because he had some failed business schemes, Norton was very discontented and disillusioned with the legal and political structures of the United States. And so he issued a brief manifesto, and he basically outlined like his ideas to fix the government and make it better, and it declared him emperor. So he just said, you know what, this whole shindig would be way better if I was in charge.
You know, he might have had a point, actually.
Yeah, maybe it would have been.
So he was emperor of the prospectors?
No, I think he was emperor of the United States. Like he went all the way.
He ran
to
the whole country. This was the guy on top.
It's giving Timothy Dexter.
Yeah, no, seriously, Timothy Dexter vibes here from this guy, actually. Although, I don't know, this guy, have you seen this guy's beard? Like, it changes shape in every picture I see of him. It's a lot of beard.
Can I read the section where he declares himself Emperor of the United States?
Go for it.
Because he hand-delivered this letter to the offices of the Bulletin, which I think was a newspaper at the time. At the peremptory request and desire of a large majority of the citizens of these United States, I, Joshua Norton, formerly of Algoa Bay, Cape of Good Hope, and now for the last 9 years and 10 months past of San Francisco, California, declare and proclaim myself Emperor of these United States, and in virtue of the authority thereby in me vested, do hereby order and direct the representatives of the different states of the Union to assemble in Musical Hall of this city on the first day of February next, then and there to make such alterations in the existing laws of the Union as may ameliorate the evils under which this country is laboring, and thereby cause confidence to exist both at home and abroad in our stability and integrity.
He issued an imperial decree whereupon he summoned the army to get rid of elected officials in Congress. And so, no, he wasn't messing around.
So he was trying to like make a coup here. Okay.
Yeah, he says a body of men calling themselves the National Congress are now in session in Washington City in violation of our imperial edict of the 12th of October last, declaring the said Congress abolished. I just read that straight from there. Basically, yeah, this guy just wrote to the U.S. military saying that they got to get rid of Congress altogether.
I think he was just upset with the way that business and the economy was working, and he was saying, like, okay, Congress is just a bunch of good old boys here. Like, who put them in charge? I didn't sign a paper. I'm the emperor just because I said so, because that's all the authority they have. It's like the gripe that people have nowadays with the monarchy in England, which is a whole different can of worms.
Well, even at this though, while I can see the griping with the monarchy, people in Congress are still supposed to be voted in. Like, you don't just show up.
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
You elect them. So, like, with the monarchy, you don't even get to vote them in. You just have them. Like, they're just there.
So Norton's orders were ignored by the army and Congress, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
He made a mandate in 1862 ordering both the Roman Catholic Church and Protestant churches to publicly ordain him as emperor.
Well, because he believed that he could fix the Civil War. If they ordained him, he would take care of it himself.
But I love that he, like, even 3 years after declaring himself emperor and no one cared, he's still, like, writing to different churches with authority saying, like, hey, it's me, Emperor Norton.
Yeah, you know who I am.
As much as I want to diss him, like, he has more claim to fame than any of the Kardashians. Like, I feel like this guy and
really?
those people are both on, like, the same level, though, of, like, people who are famous because they decided one day that they should be.
So this guy is basically just Kim Kardashian. That's what you need to take away
right,
from
Emperor
this.
Norton.
There.
If this was the Kardashians, but a guy in the 1800s, that's what this would have been.
It's okay.
Are you saying Emperor Norton, or rather, hold on, let me back up. Are you saying Kim Kardashian is the modern Emperor Norton?
I'm saying that they share a big similarity with their what would it be? A way of profiting? I don't know, commerce. What would I even say?
I don't know. Did Kim Kardashian sell rice?
Yeah,
No.
is she a rice salesman or something? You know what? You might actually be onto something though. There's no way that we can prove that you're wrong because this guy is dead. So we can't actually ask him. We can't say, "Hey, man, are you literally just Kim Kardashian?"
Okay, but this is incredible. So apparently Norton thought that his home city was not being treated with enough respect. Like, it wasn't being treated the way an emperor's hometown should.
Of course. Okay.
He issued a decree, a stern edict, as Wikipedia puts it, and said, "Whoever after due and proper warning shall be heard to utter the abominable word Frisco," as in San Francisco, "which has no linguistic or other warrant, shall be deemed guilty of a high misdemeanor, capital H, capital M, and shall pay into the imperial treasury as penalty of sum $25.
He would have jailed, or at least fined, Otis Redding.
Yeah.
Oh.
Otis Redding wouldn't have been safe.
Free speech. Do we really need it?
Not when it comes to mocking the birthplace of the emperor.
Yeah, start banning words federally. Okay.
Some considered Norton to be insane or eccentric.
No,
no
come
kidding.
on, dude. Stop that.
I'd think he's pretty normal.
But apparently he got free meals and ferry rides. They said he had well-placed friends and sympathizers.
I'm finally getting some information on, like, where he was living. It says by 1865, so that would have been 6 years after he declared himself emperor. And for the remainder of his life, Norton lived in a small room on the top floor of the Eureka Lodgings. So it was like an apartment, I guess.
So he wasn't homeless. That is, that's a step up.
When he wasn't reading newspapers and writing proclamations, Norton spent most of his days as emperor, walking the streets, spending time in parks and libraries, and paying visits to newspaper offices and old friends. In the evenings, he was often seen at political gatherings or at theater or musical performances. He wore an elaborate blue uniform with gold-plated epaulets. Is that how you say that? Sounds too close to epilepsy. I feel like I've got to be wrong.
I don't actually know how.
Epaulettes?
No, epaulette.
Epaulettes?
Yeah. No, epaulette is right.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
They were given to him secondhand by officers of the U.S. Army. So he walked around. Oh my gosh, he had a beaver hat, a peacock, an ostrich feather, a walking stick, and an umbrella. So he was decked out. He was dripped. And he has this, like, fixated glare too in all these photos. Like
Yeah.
I can see how looking into his eyes and he tells you like, I'm Emperor Norton. You would believe
You'd
him.
say like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
So
I
apparently,
guess you are.
Norton was often depicted in caricatures with two dogs named Bummer and Lazarus. But
Yeah, I did.
no
I
one
was
knows
reading
if
about
those
that too.
were his dogs or if they're just like around.
Special Officer Armand Barbier was part of basically a group of like, they weren't really police, but they were like security guards paid by the neighborhood to kind of watch out for the place. And he arrested Emperor Norton in 1867
No.
to basically put him in an asylum. He was like, this guy's insane, cracked. We need to get him checked out. And the citizens who knew him, because he was like a public figure at this time, were outraged and angry because he did that. And
Yeah, honestly.
a newspaper wrote, Emperor Norton shed no blood, robbed no one, and he spoiled no country, which is more than can be said of his fellows in that line.
Yeah, okay.
So,
dude, it pays to have friends in the newspaper, I'm telling you.
I guess they really
Dude.
liked him. And they made the police release an apology, and they released Norton.
Yeah.
So
And police officers of San Francisco thereafter saluted Norton as he passed in the
What?
street.
Hold on. The U.S. Census straight up states, apparently.
No way.
It straight up says, the fact of idiocy will be determined by the common consent of the neighborhood than by attempting to apply any scientific measure to the weakness of the mind or will.
What?
So because the neighborhood was like, no, he's great, like he's normal, like they were all like, okay, fine, like technically.
Yeah. It seems that people really liked this guy a lot. I mean, it says that, in the census, it lists his occupation as emperor. That is
Wait,
what
really?
he's listed as. Yeah, that's what it says. Although it also lists that he is insane. So
Okay.
there's, but no, that's
They were
his
like, he's
official
emperor,
occupation.
but
But he is also insane.
By the way, Norton granted an imperial pardon to the officer that arrested him, Barbier. So he, after being released, he was like, do not blame him. I have no enemies.
So it sounds like he was really nice if like everyone
Yeah, no,
liked
look
this
at
guy.
dude, hold
like,
on. Massive win. If I'm reading this right, let me make sure. Apparently, during those times, which isn't really surprising at all, there were a lot of anti-Chinese protests happening because they didn't want them
Oh,
there. They were afraid, like people still are today. They were just racist back in the day. And apparently on one of these rallies, he just had enough. And so he just stood up on a box in front of everybody and told the whole crowd to go home. He was not a fan at
What?
all. And apparently nobody actually listened. And so he left. But then the newspaper reported about it. And they were like, yeah, this man doesn't like what y'all are doing. So think
Emperor
about that
Norton
one, huh?
stood up for the Chinese.
So he was avidly anti-racist.
I will say, as much as I pick on this guy for like how he could have gotten good, I actually will say the more I'm learning about him, the more I like him.
Yeah. So I'm saying I
he's
see
not-
nothing to really hate about him. This is the definition of fake it till you make it, except he's faking something so beyond undoable that like it's just kind of faking it for a while. Like
I
it
think he
doesn't
did
really
more
work.
than faking it though, too, because he released
Yeah.
his own money. He basically made like mom bucks. But
No
they were
way.
Norton bucks.
No
Yeah.
way,
They
dude.
were scrip or promissory notes which were accepted from him by some restaurants in San Francisco. So they really
Wow, okay.
they really liked him. And if I'm reading that right, that's basically like he's saying, "Hey, this will be worth money one day when I am officially, put into Congress. So you can spend this and I'll pay it back one day."
Oh,
Huh.
he also wanted to defend Mexico because apparently France invaded Mexico. Why they did this, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was why he added Protector of Mexico, because he didn't
Oh,
support
so
that
he
either.
was okay.
Oh, so he was
good.
the protector of Mexico as well as the emperor of the United States?
Oh, that
Yes.
was when Napoleon III was in charge.
There is something we can do.
He also sent a letter to the king of Hawaii, whose name was Kamehameha V.
What? Whoa!
So, just
Wait a
come-
second.
So I will explain this lore here.
Wait
It's
a
technically pronounced
second.
Kamehameha, and that is in fact where Dragon Ball Z gets its Kamehameha.
Wait, really?
That is in fact, yeah, they are related. That's where the
They
word
named
comes
it
from.
after the king?
Yes, that is where that comes from.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
but
That's
no,
I
it's
did not know
incredible.
that. So it's Kamehameha.
Matthew, this is a big deal. Dragon Ball Z has officially worked its way into the
Into
actual
real
lore of
life.
the podcast.
Yeah. This is it,
I mean, you've
guys.
brought up Dragon Ball Z on the podcast before, but this is the first time it like was really related.
I'm pretty
Best
impressed. I
shows
learned
made.
something. Like I learned something new.
You,
Like,
you learned something about Dragon Ball Z and the King of Hawaii.
Okay, but can we acknowledge too? Norton wrote many letters to Queen Victoria, including a suggestion that they get married to strengthen the ties between their nations.
I love how after that it just says that proved futile because the Queen never responded, and that's
I
like
can't believe
that's
it.
all they left.
But the thing is, it appears he scared Napoleon III out of conquering Mexico. He just said, hey, I, Emperor Norton, am the protector of Mexico. And Napoleon III just backed
Didn't
off.
bother. He was like, okay, you know what? We can't mess with that. Like,
but then Queen Victoria just ghosts him. Are you kidding me?
yeah, that's sad.
Later years and death. Are onto that part now.
Oh, I don't want to talk about this guy's death. Honestly, that feels
Emperor
like
Norton
bad.
is still alive to this day. He's
Let's
the oldest
go.
living human being.
It's crazy how he did that.
On the evening of Thursday, January 8th of 1880, Emperor Norton collapsed on a street corner across the street from Old St. Mary's Cathedral while on his way to debate at the California Academy of Sciences. It was immediately noticed, and a police officer hastened for a carriage to convey him to the hospital. Norton died before a carriage could arrive.
No.
The call reported, on the reeking pavement in the darkness of a moonless night under the dripping rain, Norton I, by the grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, departed this life.
oh.
Apparently 10,000 people came to the funeral, and the line of people in the funeral procession was 2 miles long.
I'm surprised it was that short.
Yeah,
For
that's
Emperor
wow.
Norton, I mean,
Paying their respects were members of all classes, from capitalists to the pauper, the clergyman to the pickpocket, the well-dressed ladies, and those whose garb and bearing hinted of the social outcast.
I mean, a lot of people seem to have
A separate paper reported that people lined the streets for a block or two. But you know what? Either way, a lot of people showed up, okay? That's all that matters.
yeah, there were less people on the earth
yeah.
at that time too. You got to account for
you
that,
got to think
so.
about it. The population was lower, so
Well, there
either
were
way,
also a lot less people out west. Like,
yeah.
So there were rumors after Emperor Norton passed away that he was like secretly super wealthy and super rich and stuff, and he just didn't spend anything.
Oh, I wish that was true.
And so they went and looked in his apartment to see if he had any wealth hidden up there, and he had about $2.50. That was all the money that he had. They also found $5 or $6 on his person.
I mean, even at the time, that still was not a lot. Like, that
No,
probably would have
that's-
been like, what, $20-something? Like,
He had his letters to Queen Victoria up there and 98 shares of a stock in a defunct gold mine.
$250 in those days is a little over $100.
He had almost enough money at home to buy a game for the Switch too.
Yeah, dude, he almost could have. Like,
almost.
Almost.
Yeah, I just had to save up a little bit more. I guess he really campaigned for building a bridge between San Francisco and Oakland. And then eventually, such a bridge was actually built. Like, it was something, it didn't happen while he was alive, but it did happen. People, it sounds like in the area, are really, really pushing to try and get a bridge named after him and call it like Emperor Norton Bridge or something, or at least put like a plaque there or something. And I think they should do that. That would go hard. Man, but yeah, this guy really has earned himself a place in history despite really not doing anything that major apart from just deciding who he was.
Well, he committed to the bit so hard that it actually like started to bleed into reality in a way.
If you say Frisco 3 times in a row, do you think Emperor Norton's ghost shows up?
I'm not gonna risk it, man.
I think you have to
I'm
say
not
it in like a
risking it either.
mirror with all the lights off at 3 a.m. I think
if you say
there's a bit
Frisco
more.
3 times into a mirror, Kim Kardashian will break into your house.
No, I mean, you probably have to like eat a bunch of rice or something first. So like,
oh, that's right. That's
I
right.
imagine that's probably involved. He might show
Frisco,
up.
Frisco, Frisco.
Frisco. Is that even? I've like never heard the word Frisco said like
Must have been 19th
ever?
century slang for San Francisco.
The only place
guess.
I've heard it is Otis Redding. He left his home in
Um,
Georgia and headed for the Frisco Bay. Man, like, that song I know. Now,
Ah, okay, fair. Well, how do you know it's
Radiohead
not?
Creep, I don't know. I don't know. For those
Jackson's
of you,
not even on recording at this point. Yeah, Jackson doesn't know what Radiohead is. That's all.
We
so
found
I
out
know that
earlier
Radiohead's
tonight.
a band. And I know
Yeah,
were they the ones that
Jackson's-
did Around the World? Was that them?
What?
Oh,
that
no,
was
that was
Daft
Daft
Punk.
That was Daft
Jackson.
Punk. Okay.
What?
How?
Okay, so no, I don't know Radiohead then. Okay.
No
so,
way.
Fans, between now and our next episode, I guess I will listen to more Radiohead. I don't know. I mean,
Jackson, I want you to listen to every single Radiohead album, all of them.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you did, leave a like, leave a review, subscribe for more episodes, share it with a friend, you know the stuff. Thanks for listening, and I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm going to go post that one on twitter.com.